Thank you so much for joining us this morning for the monthly employment data article. My name is Emily Hetherington, and I serve as Deputy Director of Communications and External Affairs for FloridaCommerce. Joining me is Jimmy Heckman, Bureau Chief, Workforce Statistics and Economic Research. At the conclusion of this presentation, we will be taking questions from credentialed media. To ask a question, please submit it through the Teams chat feature, as we will not be able to accept questions through private chat. We will address as many questions as possible, but if your question is not covered, please email media@commerce.fl.gov and our team will work to get you an answer. Today's presentation is focused on employment data for March 2024. If you have questions regarding other Florida Commerce topics, also use media@commerce.fl.gov to connect with our communications and external affairs team. I will now turn it over to Jimmy.
Thank you, Emily, and thank you everybody for joining us this morning. At 10 o'clock this morning, the Florida Department of Commerce released March 2024 labor statistics for the state of Florida, as well as all sub-state areas, including all metropolitan areas, counties, and large cities. These data were produced by the U.S. Bureau of Labor Statistics through a federal-state cooperative agreement with FloridaCommerce. And these data were collected through a combination of employer and household surveys, administrative records, and statistical modeling techniques. Florida's unemployment rate, total labor force, and labor force participation rate are published under the Local Area Unemployment Statistics Program, using information collected by the Current Population Survey. These statistics are based on the survey of households, and they capture information about individuals as opposed to jobs, and they are calculated by place of residence as opposed to place of work. Florida's seasonally adjusted unemployment rate in March 2024 was 3.2%, up 0.1% the previous month, and up 0.4 of a percentage point from March of last year. The national unemployment rate was 3.8%, down 0.1 of a percentage point this month. Florida's unemployment rate is 0.6 of a percentage point lower than the national rate and has now remained lower for 41 consecutive months since November of 2020. Miami-Dade County had the state's lowest unemployment rate at 2.0%, followed by Monroe County at 2.1% and Okaloosa County at 3.0%. Citrus County had the highest unemployment rate at 5.1%, followed by Hardee County and Hendry County at 4.8% each, and Sumter County at 4.7%. The unemployment rate of 3.2% in March 2024 represented 353,000 jobless individuals out of a labor force of 11,097,000. Florida's labor force, which is composed of all currently employed workers, as well as unemployed job seekers who are actively looking for work, increased by 7,000, or 0.1% from the prior month. Total employment in March 2024 remained unchanged from the previous month, while unemployment increased by 8,000, or 2.3%. On this graphic, we see over-the-year percent change in the labor force statewide in Florida, shown in blue, compared to the United States, shown in green. As of March 2024, Florida's labor force has grown by 1.7% over the year. This was faster than the national labor force growth rate of 0.7% over the same time period. Florida's over-the-year labor force growth has outpaced the national growth rate since December of 2020. Job creation data for the state of Florida is derived from the Current Employment Statistics, or CES survey, conducted by the U.S. Bureau of Labor Statistics. The CES survey collects data from over 40,000 Florida businesses and establishments each month to measure jobs by industry across the state. Since these statistics are based on a survey of employers, they capture information about jobs as opposed to individuals, and they capture characteristics of employers such as industry and place of work. Total non-agricultural employment in Florida rose to 9,899,100 jobs in March of 2024, up 10,400 jobs, or 0.1% from the prior month. This figure is up 211,100 jobs from 1 year ago, which is an over-the-year increase of 2.2%. Florida's private sector employment was 8,752,400 jobs in March 2024, up 8,700 jobs, or 0.1% from the prior month. Total private employment was up 179,800 jobs from March 2023, an over-the-year increase of 2.1%. 7 out of the 10 major industry supersectors in Florida gained jobs over the month. Education and health services gained the most jobs, increasing by 12,500, or 0.8%, followed by construction, increasing by 3,600 jobs, or 0.6%. and other services, adding 2,500 jobs, or 0.7%. The construction sector has added jobs in 30 of the last 31 months. The trade, transportation, and utilities sector lost the most jobs over the month, declining by 6,100 jobs, or 0.3%, followed by professional and business services, declining by 4,300 jobs, or 0.3%, and manufacturing declining by 1,600 jobs, or 0.4%. The graphic we see here shows over the year change in employment by industry supersector between March 2023 and March 2024, in Florida shown in blue compared to the United States shown in green. The fastest growing Florida industries over the past year were education and health services at 4.3%, followed by other services at 3.8%, and construction at 3.7%. 5 major sectors outpaced national trends over the past 12 months. The top 3 sectors where Florida outperformed national growth the most were other services, trade, transportation, utilities, and manufacturing. This map shows seasonally adjusted over-the-month job growth by local metro area in March 2024. 13 of the 24 metro areas in Florida had over-the-month job gains. The Orlando, Kissimmee, Sanford, Miami, Miami Beach, Kendall, Northport, Sarasota, Bradenton, Punta Gorda, and Daytona Beach, Ormond Beach areas all grew at a rate of 0.4% from March 2024. This is the fastest job growth among all Florida metro areas, followed by Sebastian, Vero Beach at 0.3%, and the Tallahassee, Naples, Immokalee, Marco Island, and Jacksonville areas at 0.2% each. The metro areas that added the most jobs in March were the Orlando, Kissimmee, Sanford area, adding 6,500 jobs, the Miami Beach, Kendall area, adding 5,200 jobs, and the Northport, Sarasota, Bradenton area, adding 1,300 jobs. The areas that lost the most jobs were the Cape Coral, Fort Myers metro area, losing 500 jobs, and the Crestview, Fort Walton Beach, Destin, and Palm Bay, Melbourne, Titusville areas, losing 400 jobs, and the Panama City metro area losing 300 jobs. Slide. We need to move back. We went too far. We need to go to slide 9. Just keep. All right, thank you for bearing with us. So here we see the most recent job openings and labor turnover survey data for Florida. Please note that this slide reflects information for February 2024, which is the latest data available. The U.S. Bureau of Labor Statistics estimates that the number of job openings, shown in blue, increased to 557,000 in February 2024, an over-the-month increase of 20,000, or 3.7%, but down 12.1% from 1 year ago. I'm sorry, folks, it looks like we're having a little bit of trouble with the slideshow. I'll keep going with the presentation, and we'll try to match up as we go. The U.S. Bureau of Labor Statistics estimates that there were 303,000 quits in February 2024, an over-the-month increase of 35,000, or 13.1%, and up 6.7% from 1 year ago. There are 431,000 hires shown on this graph in green in February 2024, and over the month increase of 56,000, or 14.9%, and up 15.9% from 1 year ago. On March 29th of 2024, the U.S. Bureau of Economic Analysis released the initial estimate of gross domestic product by state for the fourth quarter of 2023. Florida's GDP grew at an annualized rate of 4.6% in the fourth quarter of 2023, faster than the national rate of 3.4%. Florida's real GDP growth, shown here in blue, ranked 8th among all states in the fourth quarter. This marks 14 consecutive quarters that Florida has seen positive real GDP growth dating back to the third quarter of 2020, and 12 consecutive quarters since the first quarter of 2021 that Florida has grown faster than the national rate. The Florida industries that contributed the most to the GDP growth in the fourth quarter were retail trade, manufacturing, and construction. Thank you all so much for joining us this morning for the FloridaCommerce rate release presentation for March 2024. This concludes the presentation, and we'll be happy to field any questions from Prudential Media.
Okay. From Jim Turner, Labor reported earlier this week that Florida had one of the highest rates of people quitting jobs. To what do you attribute the desire by people to seek new employment?
Hi, Jim, and thank you for your question. So I think that number of quits that was reported, that's one of the numbers that we included on the job openings and labor turnover slide here today. We saw an increase of 35,000 quits in February and 303,000 quits total in February. To me, that just spells out that there are a lot of people that are confident in their ability to find jobs out there in the labor market. And we're seeing a couple of different things that I think point to that there's a lot of demand for labor right now. We also saw in that same report that hires increased, as well as the number of job openings. There are there are considerably more job openings in the state right now than there are unemployed individuals. So we're just seeing a lot of demand for labor, and we think that the number of quits really plays into that and tells us that people are really confident that they're able to find good opportunities in the labor market right now.
And then from Tom Urban, why does Florida continue to outpace the nation on job growth?
Good morning, Tom, and thank you for your question. So I think really the key factors here, that they're the same as they have been for the past couple of years. Is really we're seeing, I think population growth is a big driver of a lot of the growth that we're seeing in Florida. That just creates more opportunities, more demand for goods and services, which creates more opportunities for businesses, which creates more demand for labor. And to that point, where Florida has also seen the most new business formations so far this year of any state, as well as really since 2019, the most new business formations of any state in the country. And so we just think that a lot of these factors are pointing to just a really strong demand for labor, and a lot of people that are finding a lot of opportunities around the state right now.
Thank you so much for joining us today for the March 2024 economic data release. If you have any additional questions, please email media@commerce.fl.gov. We look forward to having you at our next economic data release for April 2024 on May 17th, 2024. Thank you and have a good weekend.